Ever wondered what it's really like living full-time in caravan parks? It's not all poolside relaxation and hot showers. I'm Samantha, and my little family and I have been living full-time in caravan parks all around Australia for the past 2 years. After completing the big lap and zigzagging across the country, we've experienced our fair share of the good, the bad, and the absolutely amazing. Today I'm sharing the real highs and lows as we stay at the beautiful BIG4 Saltwater holiday park in Yamba, New South Wales. When we first decided to full-time travel, we weren't really sure how we would begin. We ended up moving into a family's caravan for 4 months, and we honestly thought we were going to hate it. But 3 months into that trip, we fell in love with the lifestyle and decided to buy our very own custom-built caravan from Wild Trail, and we have been obsessed ever since. Back in 2019, we built our own bus and we lived out of it, and we had it fully decked out with everything we needed to live off-grid for as long as we wanted, and we really enjoyed it. Honestly, it was really peaceful all the time. You could park it in a lot more locations, and it felt a lot more like camping rather than just living in a caravan. But for this time around with the 2 kids, we knew that we needed to stay in caravan parks to make this a sustainable lifestyle for us. So let's start with the pros of living in caravan parks. We really love the community feeling of caravan parks. When we got back from our 4-month trip to Europe at the end of last year, we really noticed that we were missing connection, mainly because we couldn't speak the languages in a lot of the places, but also it just didn't feel easy to connect with people over there. I think you would find that if you went off-grid as well. Obviously, there's not always a place where people would gather if you're living off-grid, so we find that caravan parks are really great for connecting with other like-minded people. There's always so many young families in the caravan parks that we stay in, especially along the coast of Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria, and we find it really easy to make new friends. One of the huge pros of living in caravan parks is of course the facilities and the amenities. Most of the caravan parks that we stay in, they'll have a jumping pillow, playgrounds, camp kitchens, really great amenities, the laundry facilities, and generally well-kept sites and gardens. They're also usually family friendly, especially the BIG4 and the NRMA holiday parks. If there's one of those caravan parks in the town that we're staying, I'll generally try to choose one of those, and that's just because they're always so well catered for the kids. They have pedal carts for hire. A lot of the ones that we've been to have water parks and water slides. They even sometimes have food trucks or live shows and entertainment like that. And the kids clubs can be a lifesaver if Tom has to work long hours, especially in the rain. The caravan parks that we choose are generally in really great locations as well. We love to mix it up between staying in ones just out of town with great facilities and then also staying in smaller family owned ones right in the center of town. This gives us a good mixture of being out in open spaces and then also being walkable to everything in town. A lot of the time though, our caravan parks that we stay in will be on the beach, which is just amazing for those afternoon walks. We can just go through the gate, walk onto the sand and have an afternoon play. A very big pro to staying in caravan parks is that you never need to worry about filling your water tanks, emptying your waste tank, or needing to check how much power your solar is getting. When Tom and I lived in that bus off-grid, we were constantly needing to fill up our water tanks and driving to random places to empty our waste tanks. It was honestly quite stressful. So we find that it's much more sustainable for us to be able to live this way full time in caravan parks because we don't have to worry about those little things that nag at you every few days. And then my last pro that I want to mention is laundry day. I've never stayed in a caravan park that doesn't have a laundry, and usually they'll have multiple washers and dryers in the one laundry room. Most of the time these washing machines and dryers are industrial grade, which means it's much quicker and easier to shove in all of your stuff. It washes quicker, it dries much quicker, and your laundry gets done so much quicker than if you're using one of your little washing machines inside the caravan, which we actually ended up removing out of our caravan, but we've talked about that in a previous video. Now, of course, there's some pretty bad things that come with living in caravan parks. One of those is the lack of privacy. Some of the sites that you'll be given aren't very big, and that means you're going to be really close with your neighbors. We've had a couple of occasions where our lounge room window is almost touching someone's awning, and it's always quite claustrophobic when you stay in places like that. We always want to get out pretty quickly, but the good news for us is that we always stay somewhere a week, which means the people next to us are usually moving quicker than us. So we only have to deal with closeness quite rarely. Usually it's just on a weekend or something when it gets a lot busier. Another big con for us is the noise at some caravan parks. Usually it's just kids running around at night, playing, having fun, which is all good, unless you go to bed at 8 o'clock like we do. Honestly, this is a little thing and we just let it slide. The kids are out having fun, making childhood memories. We're just trying to get some sleep. We'll survive. But it can honestly get quite noisy, especially from like Friday, Saturday nights, or in school holidays. School holidays in caravan parks can be just crazy. The place gets fully packed out no matter where you're staying, and there are so many kids everywhere. It makes it more fun and exciting, and you meet more people in that time, but it can also be very loud and a little bit annoying at times. A pretty obvious con of staying in caravan parks would be the cost. Obviously, staying in caravan parks is more expensive than living off-grid, but the cost will vary depending on where you choose to stay. Our average cost for caravan parks every week would probably be between $400 and $500. But I am pretty picky when it comes to caravan parks, and I like to choose the best option in the town that we're staying, so our prices are probably going to be higher than a lot of people that want to do it more on a budget. I like to choose the caravan parks with really great facilities, really good amenities, sites that look big and shady, and that provide easy entertainment on days when it might be rainy or if Tom has to work a lot. Now, a really good example of a great caravan park would be the one we're staying at right now. This week our home is the BIG4 Saltwater holiday park in Yamba, New South Wales. It's got to be one of the best caravan parks that we've stayed in all around Australia, and that is because of the facilities. Not only are the caravan sites here huge, spacious, shady, and quite private, but they also provide fire pits, pedal carts, a jumping pillow, an amazing playground, a really impressive water park which the kids just absolutely love, but they also have 2 pool areas. One of these pool areas is recently new and it's called the Oasis. Every afternoon they'll put a movie on the big screen that you can watch from either the pool or the grass area. They provide plenty of shade and lots of seats. They even have these amazing floating cushions that you can relax on. But the best part, and my absolute favourite thing about this park, has got to be the hot tub and the swim up bar. Yes, this caravan park has a swim up bar. Every afternoon they have happy hour, so you can swim up to the bar, pay your $15 and get a frozen daiquiri and swim over to a table and enjoy your afternoon. Honestly, the Oasis is such a luxurious place. Obviously, staying at a place like this isn't going to come too cheap, but it's not too far off of our weekly budget. It cost us $412 for 5 nights to stay here at BIG4 Saltwater, which averages to about $82 per night, which is pretty pricey, but you can definitely see where you get your money's worth. Next up, let's go through some tips for living in caravan parks full time. Number 1 is choosing the right parks. You might need family friendly, pet friendly, or maybe you want to stay somewhere a little bit out of town so you get some peace and quiet. The way that I like to find a caravan park is pretty much to Google the place you're staying. So right here would be Yamba. I would put into Google Yamba caravan parks, and then I would just look at the list that comes up straight away. I'll then click into each and make sure I check the reviews for those caravan parks. Usually a BIG4 or an NRMA will show up there, or even a Discovery Park might pop up there too. And these are usually the ones that I'll click into, and I check out their facilities and their photos. When you go to book your preferred site at the caravan park that you've chosen, they'll generally have some photos, and I like to just scroll through those to make sure I like the look of the site that I'll probably be getting, whether it's got turf or whether our caravan's going to fit on it, where our car could go, if there's a nice flat ground for our annex to be set up, just things like that that I like to check. And I'm pretty thorough when it comes to researching caravan parks for the place we're staying. I am very picky. That's because I like to feel comfortable in the place that I'm staying for a week, especially with my young children. So I do a fair bit of research before I book anywhere, just to make sure that when I show up, I'm not regretting my choices. My second tip is to make sure you book ahead in peak seasons. We used to be able to get away with booking only a couple of weeks ahead wherever we went, sometimes even in school holidays, but 2 years later and with a 9.5 meter caravan, it's much trickier for us to find places that will let us stay for the entire week on one site. So I make sure to always book ahead at least a couple months in advance. If you're planning to stay somewhere during school holidays, make sure you book that as soon as possible, because it can be so hard to find somewhere in school holidays. So just keep that in mind and check the calendar. Make sure you're not staying anywhere in school holidays, and if you are, book in advance. Tip number 3 is to stay longer to receive long stay discounts, and even sign up as a member for the caravan parks that you're staying, like NRMA or BIG4. It cost me something like $30 or $50 to sign up for NRMA and BIG4 members, and I've saved hundreds of dollars at caravan parks using these member discounts. You'll even sometimes get perks, like this week we got a free pedal cart hire because we are a BIG4 member. And my final tip is to try and stay places as long as you can. This will just help you to relax for longer and not have to move around so much. But that's kind of a general tip for caravanning altogether. This week we're only staying in Yamba for 5 nights, but that's only because it's been a lot of public holidays. We had Easter and Anzac Day, so we couldn't actually book on those days. They were already full, so that's why this week is a shorter stay. We're being kicked out, but generally we like to stay a Rue for a week because we don't have to pack up or set up as much as we would if we moved more frequently, and it also just makes this lifestyle feel more doable for us. We can have more of a structured routine through the week where we have work days, grocery shopping days, and we just have a very set out routine that we like to do so that we can last living in a caravan as long as possible. Overall, caravan park life has been such a rewarding experience for our family. It's not always perfect, but the memories we're making are absolutely worth it. I really hope you enjoyed the video and got to see a little bit of a snippet of what it's like living in caravan parks full time. If you have any questions or want some more tips, leave a comment below and I'll reply to you there. If you did like the video, please hit that thumbs up because it helps us reach a wider audience. And if you want to see more caravanning adventures from us, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.